Kia ora koutou. I am really honoured to be here, and I just want to say that mussels actually do entice the most attractive audience, don't they? Don't tell them. This is actually where it all started 7 years ago in 2012. When myself and a few other enthusiasts were sitting in the audience here, and we heard from Darren Parsons from Niwa, who talked about the restoration potential of the once abundant seaweed mussels. Tim Hyam, the then Hauraki Golf Forum manager, put a shout out to the audience to say, hey, look, if you want to restore these seaweed mussels, put your hand up and come and meet at the end of the seminar. And so it began. A group of misfits pulled together and created Revive Our Golf. So I'm here on behalf of Revive Our Golf to tell you about what we've achieved since 2012. But before that, I would like to just quickly just wanted to take a moment to pay tribute to Roger Grace, who is one of the most humble men that I've had the pleasure of spending time with. From the day Revive Our Golf began, Roger's leadership and dedication was an absolute invaluable input. And I know that Roger will be really proud that we are here today and proud that we're sharing our journey with you. Doesn't work, does it? Okay. Here we go. So this is a little demonstration we've done beforehand. Take 2 glasses of muddy water from the Tamaki estuary. Am I pointing it at the wrong? Sorry. Okay. Put in 1 green-lip mussel. This guy was sourced from a local supermarket. It takes him a little while to adjust, and then within 15 minutes you can see he's done an amazing job at cleaning up the water. It's pretty impressive, isn't it? I can hear a few of you saying, yep, but there's a few other species that do a similar job. So why have we chosen green-lip mussels? Well, it's a 2-part story. Firstly, you may have seen this map just beforehand. This is a map of the historic extent of green-lip mussels. You can see the light green area is where they were, and the darker green is where they were heavily dredged. When these green-lip mussels were out there, they would have actually filtered the water of the Hauraki Gulf in 1 day. Now it would take the remaining mussels over a year to do so. Imagine that, sailing in here when those mussels were there, you would have been able to see right to the bottom, and probably all of the fish and everything that were there as well. Along with water cleaning, these mussel beds also bring in a lot more biodiversity, other species associated with these mussel beds. So productivity, biomass, and fish abundance was huge. So that's the first reason. And you're probably saying, well, what happened to these mussels? This happened. We fished them. They're pretty yummy. So we fished the Hauraki Gulf, and until the 60s, which was when the fishery collapsed. As you can see here, they really haven't come back since then. Once the Hauraki Gulf fishery collapsed, this is how we did it. It's pretty impressive. They took out the dredges. You can see here, look at the size of the mussels that we used to have. Now they would have filtered a heck of a lot of water. So once the Hauraki fishery collapsed, then we moved down to Maldra, fished that until it too collapsed. Then we took the dredges up to the Manukau kaipara and other little inlets, and fished that also till it collapsed. Didn't really think about doing much monitoring, and unfortunately the fishermen who were doing this thought, those mussels will come back, and they haven't. So this is pretty much what the Gulf looks like now. And this. Oops, sorry. This is actually a photo of Sean, who was around here. He's done a selfie, and his arm is actually completely immersed in sediment. If he fossicks around a little bit, he can pull out one of the old mussel shells. So the second reason we are focusing on greenlet mussels is because of these guys. In the 70s, Kiwi ingenuity brought mussel farming to the forefront, and now we have a multi-million-dollar industry who are really eager to help us restore the mussel beds. So, what have we done? This was the first drop that we did, deployment, I should say. We worked together with the Hauraki Gulf mussel farmers, and we deployed 70 tonnes of mussels east of Waiheke. We could tell you the location, then we'd have to kill you. Alright, so this is what we did. We took them from the harvesting barges, washed them on the barge, sorted them, those that went to market, the rejects, which were smaller, larger, the ones that don't look good, came to us. We moved them across the Firth of Thames, and then we deployed them. We worked with Auckland University. We had some really smart PhD and master's students who have been studying these first beds, and we've learnt quite a bit about sizes, depth, substrate, recruitment, and predation pressures. After we did this first deployment, we got contacted by Ministry of Primary Industries, and we were told that we couldn't move anymore because we needed a permit. We filed for an unwanted organisms permit, and demonstrated that the species that we were concerned about were already present in these areas. However, we didn't gain the permit because we needed to follow a few quite stringent procedures. So it's really, really great to have you here today, and thank you very much for your talks. There are some pretty nasty things out there, and it's really good to see you working on pathways and management plans. The Mussel Reef Restoration Trust doesn't want to spread any unwanted organisms outside of its established range. So, Auckland University have been working with Ministry of Primary Industries, and they've come up with a new process. What we need to do now is barge the mussels through, and we've been able to immerse mussels in an unused oyster farm. What they do is put the bags into water, run water through the bags for 90 minutes to kill any unwanted organisms. The first beds that they deployed struggled a bit because they were really small. So Revive Our Gulf stepped in, and we helped university out, and we got some more mussels, and we put them through this process. And so we got a lot larger beds. We managed to put down 80 tonnes in the Maharangi Harbour. This is what they looked like when they first deployed. But then after a week, they were standing upright, filtering away, and looking pretty happy and healthy. Although you can see the sediment building up on them. So this is the new process that we have to do under the permit. Speaks for itself there. And this is also, we don't move species around the Gulf But what we've found is they're actually already in the areas that we're wanting to move them. Here is the existing extent of Mediterranean fanworm. So it'll be really great to have discussions with MPI in the room after my talk. Oh, all right, so again, you've heard the term sea change. This was the Hauraki Gulf Marine Spatial Plan. A beautiful group of stakeholders from iwi industry, we had fishers, farmers, aquaculture industry, environmentalists, community, youth, all at the table. They worked through a 3.5-year process and they came up with these objectives. They've said they wanted, to restore ecosystems, and they also wanted to remove roadblocks. What we've learnt. So we can go into this more. We've actually got Al sitting out there, one of our master's PhD students. So if you want any details, go to him. He's your guy after this. But we have learnt a lot about recruitment. There are juveniles floating around out there. They're just not settling into the beds. So we're realising that we need some conspecifics out there. We've actually put filamentous structures, and we have had larval recruitment onto those. So it's showing you that, those large mussel beds that we used to have, the sponges, the seaweeds, the other organisms were actually where the larvae attached and then recruited into those beds. The size of the mussel beds, the smaller the bed, the more recruitment, predation and every other stressors that you've got there. Which goes along with the next point, predation and edge effect. We have learnt that the mussel beds that we've put down have almost immediately drawn new species to them. So I've got another couple of photos in a sec. Depth of the beds is really important as well. We put several beds out, and the closer to the shore, the more prone to, being ripped up through storm events. The more mussels you get out there, the more resilient they're going to be. These are things that were highly likely to be important. Again, we haven't got that many beds out there, so the science is coming. But mussel condition prior to deployment has been a really big indicator for us. That process that we've got to go through to get a permit is quite stressing for the mussels. So, if we could work through potentially maybe another way, that would add to their success when we actually deploy them. Predation, starfish out there, as I said though, the more mussels you get out there, the more resilient they're going to be. So, just getting back to our primary objective is we want to see, as Dan Hekaroa put it, restored Māori of our Gulf. And we think that a way of doing that is to bring back the once abundant mussel beds that were there. This is a great photo. A couple of seahorse, and you can see all of those other species. These are the beds that we've deployed. And here we've got, anyone see it? The octopus. He's probably having a good little munch there. But there's a lot of other species, as you can see, coming in, and this wasn't that long after we had deployed these mussels. So, I just want to say a big thank you for listening to us. As I've said here, we are really into building healthy marine ecosystems, and we would really love to work out a way forward. Also, I don't think I said beforehand, that whole process of putting the mussels in water baths costs about $500 per tonne of mussels, and really we don't have that many disused oyster farms along the Gulf, so the further you take them away from a place where you can put them in a bath, the more expensive it's going to be. So anyway, I look forward to you all working out a way forward for us.